Alright, so now we're going to move on to the knit stitch. I did cast on about 20 for teaching purposes, but you can cast on as many as you need for the project that you're working on. You're going to always want to make sure that you have enough yarn slack coming off the ball. And then this is the tail end, and you're not going to be knitting with that. So whatever hand you're going to hold in, so I use my left hand because it's my non-dominant hand. And then with your working hand, you're going to pick up your other needle. When you start off, you can take the tail and kind of pull it down so that it's out of the way. And you're going to be knitting off the seam side. So where you can see all the little knots that were formed from your cast on, that should be facing your right hand. Alright, so what you're going to do, you're going to take this right-handed needle and go under the needle on the left side. So your yarn's over the top of it, but the needle's in the back. And you've made an X. Then you're going to take the yarn that's attached to the ball. You're going to loop it around the back and then bring your right needle through so that you're adding a new stitch onto this needle. Then you're going to take it and slide the original stitch off the left-handed needle. Alright, so again you're going to take the right-handed needle, put it under the yarn to the back of the left-handed needle. You're also always going to want to make sure that the yarn's staying to the back side. You do not want it in the front for the knit stitch. And you're going to loop it around the tip of the right needle and bring it down. Now if you look in there, you can see that it's made the stitch. So you're going to remove the one from the left, come under it, and pull it off. So again, under. Now you're going to want to make sure that when you're starting, you're doing these loose, because if they're too tight, it makes it really hard to get your needle underneath it. So now if you look over here, you can see you can see the second stitches coming in here. And you can let go of the tail as well. It's going to go to the other side. So when you're doing the knitting, you'll find that you'll get comfortable with the yarn in your right hand, and you're going to want to loop it when you're knitting so that it stays out of the way. I tend to loop it over one index finger and close my fist on it. It keeps it loose so that I can pull it while I'm knitting, but it keeps it out of the way so that I don't pick up any extra yarn as I go. Now I'm going to bring it all the way to the end on this one so that you can see what happens once you get to the end, how you're going to start on the next one. So I'm just going to zip through these. Alright, so as you get to the end, all of the yarn and all of the stitches are going to have moved. Oh, see, these are the last two that you do the one cast on and it makes two. They're a little tricky, so just be careful with them. But when you're done with the first one, it's going to move all your yarn to the other needle. So when you're getting ready to start your next row, you're going to want to place it so that, again, the side with all the stitches coming off of it is facing your right hand. You're going to keep the tail down so that it doesn't get in the way. And you're just going to do exactly the same thing to do the following rows. You're going to go in through the back, take your tail. Now this you're going to want to just make sure when you do your first one it can be really loose. So you're just going to want to pull it a little bit tighter just for the first one. And then you're still just going to slide it off. And so you're just going to continue to knit that way for as many rows as the pattern calls for. And that's the knit stitch.